In the meantime, while everyone is jumping on here, if you could go to the chat box and we have tons of trainings through the end of already scheduled through the end of June on rockuniversity.com. Let me come here real quick. So if you scroll down, you go to rockuniversity.com, you can see all the different trainings that we already have scheduled every single week through the end of June. If in the chat box, you can just put in there certain topics or processes, marketing, whatever it is that you would love to learn more about or how to do. What is something that you want to learn more about that you can incorporate into your real estate business? Could be marketing, could be process, all the above. So while we're waiting for people to pop on, if you could just put some suggestions in there, I'd love to add them to our training schedule. Again, too, you can always go to rockuniversity.com, scroll down, see the entire training schedule through the end of June. We're going to be adding additional courses in there, of course, and even in-person ones coming up soon. So always keep a lookout for those. Awesome, sure. Yeah, actually that was recorded and it's available on rockuniversity.com, the Google Business Profile one. So if you click Access Video Library, you can create a login and you can access all previous recordings or any digital assets that go with those right there, 24/7. So typically any recordings or classes we do will be available there exclusively, typically within 24 hours of the class. Of course. Online marketing, website enhancements. Awesome, Linda. Thank you. Just going to give it a couple more minutes, guys. We got people popping on. Want to make sure everyone gets a chance to get on here. As you all know, since you registered for this, we are talking about Facebook ads and how you can easily create those ads to generate seller leads. It's going to be seller lead focused. We're going to talk a little bit about Facebook ads. We'll go through a live example. I'll show you exactly how to create one. And then I also have 7 examples of ads that you can steal and use. Go and incorporate into yours. You can kind of see the verbiage and content. It's always hard, right, to come up with all that content or what should we put in our ads, things like that. So we will make sure you get all that content today.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I have a question. I signed up for Rock Title. Can I use it for the same for the library access, or I need to sign up for these two?
So when you signed up for Rock Title, what do you mean, like through the like seller net sheets and things?
Yes.
So it will be separate, yes.
Oh,
yep, you will. Okay. Yep. So obviously they're the same organization, but this website is separate from Rock University. So you could just go here, click Access Video Library, create a login. Whenever you sign up, you can click Save Password, so you don't have to remember it. And then you can always access it that way there.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
Of course. Good question. All right, give it just a few more seconds here, just admitting these agents coming in. And we will get started. I do want to point out, if you were already registered, I think there was only 3 people so far for next week's training for the preliminary reports. that has been swapped for how to market buyer seller guides. So the preliminary title reports is going to be June 9th instead of next week. Next week, we're talking about market buyer seller guides. You've used these before, you have them because, right, it's just what we do, but how can you really use those to market, right? Digitally, like in person. So we're going to go through several different examples and ways that you can actually use those in your business to provide more value to potential clients and your current clients. All right. I'll go ahead and pull this out over here. All right, guys, so we are going to go ahead and get started. I'll just take a look here to make sure we have any other agents getting in to get them admitted, but I want to go ahead and get started. So today we're talking about Facebook ads. We're going to go through and see how to actually create a Facebook ad, an easy way. There's several different ways that you can actually access the ads manager. We're going to do a simple way today. We're not going to go through like an agency would or anything like that. I want to make it as simple as possible and effective as possible for each of you to be able to go in and create your own Facebook ads. And we're going to focus on seller leads. We are in a seller's market, so we're going to focus on that in this training today. If you haven't been on one of these trainings before, my name is Justin Taylor. I'm the business development training executive for Rock Title. I do cover both Arizona and Nevada. So we have agents in both states today. So very excited for you all to be here. Every Thursday through the end of June, we have training scheduled. You can always go to rockuniversity.com to see what is coming up next. And you can always register for those in advance. So I'm gonna go ahead and shoot over here. Again, rockuniversity.com is where you can locate all of our classes. As I said earlier, you can always go there to access the exclusive video library for all the previous trainings. I will always send these out to whoever attended today within 24 hours. I'll make sure you get the recording and any other assets or resources that I mentioned or that you guys asked for during these trainings. Quickly, real quick, you can always find we're growing rapidly, so we have new branches popping up. You can always go to rocktitle.com to find those. Go to rocktitle.com, locations, you can search the different branches closest to you. If you haven't worked with us yet, or you don't know who your sales executive would be or escrow officer, you can always reach out to me, Justin@rocktitle.com, and I can make sure to connect you with them. The other thing I want to point out is under resources on rocktitle.com, under tools, we have some awesome calculators that you can use. Seller net sheets, title fees calculator, quotes, buyer cost sheets. You can always access those calculators there 24/7 and be able to get that information and use it with how you would like. So we're going to talk about Facebook ads. So, right, there's Facebook ads and there's Google ads. The two most prominent that are in the marketplace. They're different though. So Facebook ads show users ads based on their interests through a targeted profile. So with these ads, users are scrolling, right? You can see here, we see them all the time when we're on social media. As you're scrolling, you may see something and it says sponsored underneath it. That's a Facebook ad. You didn't search for it, but based on certain criteria and targeting factors, it's showing up in your feed. We'll talk about that once we get to creating an ad. And then you choose, of course, whether you're going to engage or not. Google Ads shows ads to those who are specifically searching for a product or service through keywords. With these ads, users are searching keywords, for example, homes for sale in Scottsdale or Las Vegas. So show you an example of that is if I just Google homes for sale in Las Vegas, the first 3 to 4 ads in a Google ad are shown at the top. You can see it says ad, 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 ad. These are intent, right? I went to Google searching for homes for sale in Las Vegas. And so these are what's showing up here. I just want to make it clear of the difference. So Facebook, of course, is targeted, meaning you're putting certain criteria in location, demographics, things like that. We'll talk more about that too, demographics, and how that's kind of limited now for real estate and housing in general. But as you scroll through, you see that ad and then you choose to engage or not. So that's the difference. Facebook ads, I put $ here, are the lesser of expensive. They're fairly cheap in the grand scheme of things compared to Google ads. Google ads are definitely much more expensive, especially now with competition, but both are very effective. So one question might be, are Facebook ads still relevant? Are people still using them? Do they still convert? And the answer is, short answer is yes. So Facebook still has over 2 billion active users every single day. That's a lot of people, 2 billion active users. Facebook also reaches Instagram because in 2012, Facebook purchased Instagram. So you get the best of both worlds, both platforms. What's nice about Instagram is it's a very visual platform, right? Photos, videos, things like that. Instagram has over 500 million active users every single day. So again, your reach can be very, very expansive. And then revenue. So Facebook still consistently is seeing double-digit year-over-year growth in ad revenue, signaling businesses continue to see a solid ROI through social media ad campaigns. So they're still very, very relevant and effective when done correctly, consistently, and you have a solid follow-up process. We'll talk about that in a sec. So one of the cool tools with Facebook ads is you can kind of brainstorm and get some ideas through the ad library. So Facebook allows you to see ads that are currently running, and you can kind of get some ideas on content, verbiage, certain layouts, photos, videos that are being used to kind of give you some ideas. So if I go to the ad library, and it would just be facebook.com/ads/library. Again, I'll make sure this is all in the follow-up email. And then of course you can search based on area. So if I go to ad category, this is critical for you to choose. It's always going to be housing. Okay. And then location. I'm going to choose, I always do Arizona. I'm going to do Las Vegas. So you can always scroll through here and see what ads are currently active running in that category in a certain area. Here's a coming soon that somebody's running, carousel of photos, price reduced. This one here. So you can kind of just go through and do some research, maybe about what your competition is doing. If a competitor has a business page and they're running ads, you can always look their business page up as well to see if they're running any ads or what their message is and content that they're using. So just know that that's a tool that you can use to kind of get some ideas about what's running. It doesn't show direct performance stats or anything, unfortunately. Let's see if it does here. No. So it won't get into detail about, I believe, because of privacy reasons. I mean, even this being able to show what competitors are running is pretty amazing, but it will not show stats, clicks, views, things like that. Good question. So again, you can always come here as a starting point to kind of see. I have 7 examples that I'm going to show you guys today after we actually build a Facebook ad out. And you can kind of get some ideas. And then once I share this, you always have that there too to reference back. So what do you need to get started to start running Facebook ads to generate some seller leads? So you need a Facebook business page, right? And I'm using my Rock Title Agency one just as an example, but you need a Facebook business page. You cannot run Facebook ads just with your Facebook profile, your personal profile. So if you don't have a Facebook business page yet for your real estate business, absolutely recommend that you do that, especially if you want to run these ads. You can always choose, obviously, your name. If it's like Justin Taylor at ABC Realty, things like that. I always recommend at brokerage company so that you're compliant. It's with every post, and it's always transparent on who and what you are as a business. But you need a Facebook business page, a landing page or platform to capture leads. So you used to be able to do a form directly within Facebook. So if somebody clicked on your ads to learn more, you can have them fill out contact information, and they can submit it that way. Pretty easy. You can still do that. However, and I'll show you once we get into creating the ad, you can no longer ask for the property address. So a few years ago, I'm not sure if you guys remember, but when Mark Zuckerberg went to Congress to testify for certain things of privacy and all that stuff, one of the major changes affected housing, which is us, and stopped us from being able to target, and it makes sense, certain demographics, right? Because it violates a lot of things. So age, married or not married, familiar status, things like that. So with that, one of the things in the form that you could do to have leads fill out is you can't ask for the address because you're in housing. So you can ask for name, phone number, email, but it wouldn't make sense to not get the address if you're trying to generate seller leads. But you can absolutely still use the form if you wanted to just ask for name, phone number, and email. And I'll show you guys that in a sec. But a landing page or platform to capture leads. So maybe you have a website that you can direct them to and you have a home valuation form on there, or you have a landing page specifically with contact form. In today's example, I'm actually going to be using a HomeBot landing page. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of HomeBot. In my opinion, it is the best seller generating tool available currently. It's more of a lender sponsored type of tool. Most lenders have it. So you can, if you work with a lender, you can ask them if they sponsor HomeBot. If not, there's numerous lenders that we can connect you with and all that stuff that do have it. But in today's example, I'm going to be showing you HomeBot and their how you can promote the home valuation page on there. But in general, you need some type of landing page or platform to send them to capture those leads. Content and ad ideas, which I'm going to give to you today. We're going to talk about that. And then follow-up process, which is absolutely critical to the whole notion of generating leads. So I worked with agents for the last several years, and we talk about generating leads, and we can generate all the leads that we want to generate. It's unlimited. It really is. However, the follow-up process is rarely fully executed. So you're generating these leads and we reach out a couple times and then we say, it's not a good lead, they're not answering. However, we as humans, it takes 6 to 7 times before we start to pay attention. Okay, so you've got to commit to a follow-up process that when you generate these leads, what does that look like? So you get their phone number and email. Does that mean you're going to call them? You're going to email them? You get a property address. Are you going to go ahead and reach out to your Rock Title sales executive and get a property profile that you can email over to them? Or you can go and print and drop off? So think about what that follow-up process looks like. And it doesn't have to be just for this. It could be even for open house leads and things like that. I really challenge you to think about your follow-up process and what that looks like. And then, of course, budget commitment, right? You got to take a look and make sure that you set the budget aside for these ads. Facebook ads are relatively inexpensive in the big picture. So as I'll show you guys, it doesn't cost a whole lot to get a lot of impressions and views and things like that. But of course, you want to make sure you have a commitment to that budget. Any questions so far? You're more than welcome to unmute or hit up the chat box if you guys have questions through this. That way we can get them answered as we go. Cool. All right, so we're gonna just jump in and set up an ad campaign so you guys can see this. So we're gonna go through a live walkthrough. Like I said, I'll make sure everyone gets this recording and training deck for your reference within 24 hours. And then you guys can always rewatch this or go back through. So I'm gonna jump over to Facebook. As you saw here, I'm already on my Facebook business page. This is an example, of course, right? I'm not gonna generate seller leads with this business page, but this is the example I'm gonna show you guys. It's set up the same way. And I'm gonna show you the most effective and easiest way to run these ads. We're not gonna go through the agency process because it's very complicated. And I want you guys to be able to take away from this and be able to start running your ads right away. Yes, Deanna, I will email you more information on that HomeBot so you have it. And just so everybody knows, there is a free version and a paid version for HomeBot. So the free version, you get, they call it freemium. It's still a lot for what you get for free because it's sponsored by your lender. But then there's a paid version where it's $25 a month and you get even more benefits and features to that platform. But Deanna, I will definitely email you and then get you in the right direction there. So from here, you're on your Facebook business page. And on the left-hand side, we're going to scroll down to your ad center. You can see here. And you have, it's just an overview of your ad center, things that you've ran in the past. I'm going to click create ad. You have a couple options here. So you can always do automated ads, which just personalize ads and adjust over time via Facebook, what they think is best. We're going to click on create new ad. And then you can always boost a post, meaning that if you just say you did an open house post or closed, just listed, a review post, and you just want to get it in front of more people, you can always just boost that easily by quickly selecting the demographic and submitting it. But today we're going to do create new ad. Absolutely, guys. I'll make sure everyone gets the information on HomeBot for sure.
Sorry to bother. How did you reach to create ad from your business page?
Yeah, so let me go back here. I'm just going to go home. So once you're on your business page, on the left-hand side, if you scroll down, you see Ad Center. That's what you're going to click. Once you click that, you're on your overview of the Ad Center, and then you're going to click Create Ad in the blue button.
So we need to go to Manage page from our business page.
So when you're on your actual Facebook feed, like this is my personal feed, you're going to click on your business page, whatever name that is. And then once you're there, on the left-hand side is where you can go click on Ad Center. And once you're there, you'd click the Create Ad. And then that middle button there is what we're going to work with today. Does that make sense? I want to make sure everyone's on the same page.
Yes.
Perfect. So this is going to be the page where we're going to go ahead and build out our app. Okay. The example I'm going to show you guys today is going to be very local specific. I'm going to jump into MLS and actually screenshot a little bit of a map and for a certain zip code. And then we'll go through and see the verbiage that we put in there. So a couple things here is you can, as you go through this, we're just going to go top to bottom. Your goal, what results would you like from this ad? You can always choose, it's just automatic. Let Facebook select the most relevant goal based on your setting. If you click change, we're going to come into here and we're actually going to choose get more website visitors. I want Facebook to show these ads to people in the demographic that I choose that would click on this and go to my website the most. Okay. So my goal is to get more website visitors because I want to push them to my landing page to fill out that home valuation. But there's other options here. You can use a form to collect contact information. Like I said earlier, that's an option that you can do. However, because we are in housing, we cannot ask for the property address on that form via Facebook. But there's other options here if you wanted to run ads in other ways. So I'm gonna choose website visitors. Over here on the right-hand side, once we get to that, that's just gonna be the preview of what your ad's gonna look like. Shuffle creative lets Facebook optimize your ad creative by testing a mix of headlines, images, and buttons to show people the version they're most likely to respond. This works very effective. If you want to do this, you can. It just shows different variations of the ad that you're running. For today's training, I'm not going to check that box. If you don't check the box, you still have a very effective ad that will run. So how do you want your ad to look? So description, if I just throw this in here real quick, we can see that this populates here, right? So I'm going to go through and actually add a description. And before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and go into MLS and pull a screenshot for this particular ad. And this is just one example. I have 7 examples that I'm going to show you guys today, but this is the one example I'm going to show you when we actually create this ad here. So I'm already in my Flex MLS. If you're in Vegas, your MLS probably looks different. From here, I went through and I just pulled closed data for the last 30 days in a specific zip code. So I'm going to run this ad in 85050, this specific zip code. So when I pull that data, I can see this map and I have all these cool blue dots that show me all the homes that closed in that area. So if I zoom in, see if that's good. Nope, I'm going to zoom back out. So I want to get a good screenshot. Okay, so I'm going to screenshot this from my computer. Something like that. And I also want to pull a little bit of data for these closed properties. So in my MLS, I'm going to click CMA. Yours may be different. Statistical buyer CMA. And it's going to give me data on what's closed, sold prices, how many listings, things like that. Even days on market. So this is data that I'm going to use for our ad. So I'm going to go back to Facebook. And now I'm going to start the description. Now, when you're in this ads creator, it doesn't have a spot for emojis. And we a lot of times use emojis now, right? And you see them in ads, you see them in emails, you see them everywhere. Just to make it a little bit more prettier, a little bit more engaging. So to do emojis, you would have to just open up another Facebook, pretend that you're posting something, and grab those emojis that way, okay? But I'm gonna type out what my ad is gonna be first. So for the description, and I just pulled notes here from previous one. It said 69 properties sold in 85050 in the last, whoops, in 85050 in the last 30 days. My next line is going to be average sold price was 699,926. Sorry, my computer's trying to catch up here. the highest sold price closing at a whopping, this is amazing, 1.620. See what your home could today's market. Okay, now we can kind of go through and make it pretty. We can see here, this is a preview. So there's a couple things I want to add. I want to add the emojis. I want to add my, we won't need to add the link in here yet because we're going to add that as the button. So I'm going to go ahead and grab those emojis just through here. So this first one, I'm just going to grab a house. It's here somewhere. There it is. Nope, not the boat. There it is. So I'm just going to highlight that and copy. And then put the cursor in front of the line and paste. Average sold. Of course, we're talking about money. So I'm going to go find that money bag, especially with that 1.6 million. Not quite the microphone. Okay, same thing, paste that there. And then I'm just going to grab a little cell phone. I'm going to do this one. Blue arrow just feels like it's a call to action. Copy. I'm going to paste that right there. Okay. So you can't click more than one goal for a specific ad, but you can run multiple ads. You would have to run numerous ads. Yep. So if you wanted one goal to be more page likes and one goal to have more website visitors, you would just do 2 separate ads and maybe split the budget between the 2. But one ad won't be able to have multiple goals. So we can see the preview over here. So now that looks a lot better, right? We're giving good data. We're being local. So I'm showing this, I'm going to run this ad specifically in this zip code. So when a user is scrolling, they say, oh, that's my zip code. Oh, 69 properties sold in the last 30 days. This is the average price, with the highest being 1.6 million. And see what your home could sell for in today's market. Sure, I'll click. Okay. So we're going to keep going down here. Sorry, guys, if you see my cursor keep going up, I'm just checking the chat box as I'm going. I want to make sure everyone's questions get answered. Okay, so now we're going to choose the screenshot. So we're going to select media. This is a screenshot I took earlier, but I'm going to upload the one that I got. Actually, I'm going to use one that I took earlier of the same zip code. And I'm going to uncheck the other one. You could do that by at the bottom, you can see how many images you have. So you can always have multiple images within this ad as well. So if you wanted a specific, like a map of this, or if it's a just listed ad, you can have multiple photos of the home, maybe front of the home, the kitchen, master, backyard, something like that. You can always have multiple in there, or you can even do video, which would be amazing. People love to watch videos. So I'm just going to choose those. Delete that other one and just choose this one and select. And it's going to update for us. And now we can see our ad come into life here. Okay. So a user scrolling, they see this data, they see the picture. They're like, I live right here. What is this? Right? Piques a little bit of interest. This is there. It makes it very local for them. Then they get this data. And of course, we're curious. They want to know. Headline shows up here. This more bold. So a headline you could put, if you wanted to point something out, 85050 market update. If I click out, it's going to update over here. You can see that there. Again, very local. We want to change this website address and button. So I'm going to scroll down. You can choose which button you want to use. Apply now, not really relevant. If you guys are running ads maybe for a buyer or seller guide, you can click download. They can download that there and you can capture their information. Learn more is probably the most relevant one. So I'm going to leave it there. Website URL, we want to change. Like I said earlier, I'm going to use my HomeBot landing page. I'm going to show you guys a preview of what that looks like. So when somebody clicks on it, it takes them here. Build more wealth with your home, find out what your home is worth. They enter their address in there, ask for their information, you get notified. What I love about HomeBot, specifically for sellers, is they focus more on building wealth in terms of their messaging. They have a 50% engagement rate on their platform, which is insane. That's amazing. So a 50% engagement rate from their users. And they can go in, it's all branded to you. They can go in and toggle buttons, see their current mortgage status, what it would look like, how much equity they have, what it would look like if they could then take that equity and purchase an investment property. Tons of different tools in there, all branded to you. We can even pull farm data for you and you can add it in there that way. So this is what it would look like. So I'm going to take that link, paste it in here. Everything will get updated. So we have our correct link now. Learn more. We're going to keep scrolling. This is that special ad category I was talking about. So you have an option to either do a form. However, you can't get an address. So I would highly recommend using an external landing page for these. If you check this toggle here, it's going to ask you what category, housing. If you don't check this, it's going to get rejected. There's absolutely no way around it. So ads for real estate listings, homeowners insurance, mortgage loans, or other related opportunities. You have to check this. And what was available before, familiar status, age, things like that, are no longer available to target. Okay, makes sense though, because we know we can't discriminate based on those anyways. So just know that you have to check housing, takes away some of those demographics that you can target. What we're going to focus on here is people in your audience. And we're going to choose that. So here it says audience details. You're going to click the little pencil. Audience adjusted to follow policies. So of course, what I was just explaining, certain things were removed, right? You can't choose gender, age, can't do. So we're just going to go down to location. So here it just automatically chooses Scottsdale, but I'm going to close out of that and I'm going to do 85050. And it's going to populate. Maybe if it searches. My computer's really lagging. Gotta do it that way. Why is this not popping up? Yep. Get some zoom in here. So I'm gonna do Phoenix first. See if they'll let me do it this way. Okay, so I think because my IP address is pulling from a different location, I'm actually not currently in the United States, so that's probably why that's not coming up there. But you would typically put in the zip code because that's what I'm specifically targeting, and it would populate here. And you can do within certain miles if you wanted to extend Phoenix out. You could do that as well. So actually, it says zip code selection is unavailable. Location selection must be included with the pin drop. So what we're going to do is do the pin drop. That way you guys can at least see it. So if I do this here, I know that my area, Desert Ridge 85050, is in this area. I'm going to drop it there. I'm going to take out Phoenix. And I can actually make this smaller. I don't want the 15 miles. And that's actually the smallest we can go. Okay. So typically you'd be able to do the zip code. In this instance, we're just gonna do the pin, and then you can like zoom out the 15 miles. And then if you keep scrolling, detailed marketing, you really can't do this anymore because of that demographic, things like that. It's just not gonna get approved. So I would skip that. It's really just geographic right now for real estate. Estimated audience size is 1.8 to 2.1. We've got that green mark in there. I'm going to click Save Audience. If we keep scrolling, it just gives us that audience adjusted to follow policies, just making sure that we are not discriminating. And then we're down to duration. So run this ad continuously. If you just want it to run nonstop, it's just going to keep going until you stop it. But I would choose an end date. So maybe we're going to choose next week. I'm sorry, next week. Based on this $5 a day, we can reach an estimated 350 to 1,000 people. Okay, so we can see over here, estimated daily results, people reached 353 to 1,000. Link clicks, 80 to 232. Your total budget is $35. So for $35, you can get daily results, 80 to 232 clicks. It's quite a lot. You can enter in more than one location. Yes, absolutely. So for that budget, $5 a day at 7 days, 35 bucks. These are the potential results that you can see. Okay, that's pretty good for this budget. Like I was saying, Facebook ads are relatively the least expensive of ad in lead generation, but there's a difference in targeting versus intent, like what we talked about earlier. So you can, and if you toggle this, you can see that increases. So if I go up to $20 a day, you can see that this jumps up. Okay, total budget's 140 for that 7 days, but these are your potential results. Awesome, Angie. I'm so glad. Let's see. Lisa asked, if you add another zip, the budget per day goes up, correct? Yes, so based on what areas and things like that, or how many people are in the geographic that you selected, the budget can change, can fluctuate. It can go up. Yeah, based on the what you put in there. The budget won't go up. The amount of clicks or people reached may go down because the area is larger and your budget only covers a certain amount. So your link clicks and people reach may go down. Did that make sense? Perfect. So budget will stay the same, of course, because that's just what you choose. This estimated daily results is what would adjust. So whichever budget you want to choose on here, you can solidify that. Again, commit to that budget. It's part of the things we talked about earlier. You just want to make sure it's something that is in your marketing budget for your business. So placements, you can have this placed, of course, on Facebook, Instagram, and Messenger. All of these are checked. So this ad will show on Facebook, Instagram as well, and even in Messenger. Website Facebook pixel. If you don't know what that is, it's just a pixel little ID that you can put onto a website that allows tracking information for who's visiting to retarget. So people who visit your website will then be shown your ad on their social media. For this example, I'm just going to take that off. So no pixel. And then, of course, your payment method. Once you have all this in there, your ad is exactly how you'd like it. You're satisfied with your estimated daily results in your budget. Scroll down, you can click promote now. Your ad's going to be submitted. And then there's a review process. Okay. So we'll let you know if this meets our advertising policies within 24 hours or less. You can updates in the ad center. So you're going to get a notification about when it's approved and running. So they just go through and make sure that it's compliant and everything like that. Do know that you're not charged this right away. I believe Facebook has, if you hit, it's either every 14 days, it may have changed, or you hit a certain amount, then that's when you get charged. So it's not like you're gonna get charged at 140 right away. It's at a certain milestone. So some people don't have the pixel in their website or even have a website to add it to. It's really if you want to retarget. So if you don't have that in your website per se, like you have to physically copy a pixel or a code and put it into your website for it to work. And a lot of people either don't know how to do it or they just don't have the website capable of doing it. So it'd be not necessary to have it, and you could just uncheck that box. And Mamta, just so you know that your OneSuite website does have that capability. Cool. Any questions on this process?
Excuse
Does
me.
anybody?
Yes, me. So do you have to put your phone number or your email, personal, well, not a personal, but the business email in this ad? Because it's a violation or what?
No, because it's connected to your Facebook page. So when they actually click the ad, like your name is on it, it'll go to your profile. And all your information's there.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Thanks.
Yeah. If you guys run like just listed or sold or anything like that, it's always a good practice to make sure you're putting in like in the photos, just like you would with any other advertising, equal housing and things like that. For sure, if it's specific to a property. Cool. Let me see. I've got some things in the chat box. Thanks, Mom. I appreciate that. Awesome, Claudia. There's a couple things I still want to go over in the presentation. I said I would go over some ad examples to give you guys ideas of different copyright or verbiage and things like that for you guys to use. Plus, there's a little bonus at the end. So I'm just going to continue here. Any other questions on creating the ad? Does anybody need Advil? I know it's a lot of information, and believe it or not, this is the least tasking way. I didn't want to go through the agency one and the actual like business ads manager. This is going to be the easiest way and most effective for you guys. So we can always go more in depth and into a masterclass. Yeah, if you guys have more questions as you dive in and start making these, and just reach out to me. I'll be happy to help. Okay, so I'm going to go back here. We're going to go through some examples of even just different Facebook ads that you could run that are seller focused. So example one here, Jen, who's an agent, is promoting one of her blogs, things every seller should know in this market. So if you want to write a blog on your website or anything like that, you want to generate traffic that way or make it go to a landing page with the blog article where they can register, you can do it that way. Example two is a March market update. Again, just you could be very specific to a community in terms of location and give them an update. If you did a video, that would be even better. All these trainings, I'm going to mention video somehow. Here's some that I put together. So example three is actually a Rock Title sponsored tool. We had our Altos market reports training a few weeks ago, and I talked about taking screenshots of those reports. You can always take a screenshot of a report specific maybe to Maricopa County or a zip code or a city, whichever. And you can put that in there as the image, just like what we did with the map. And you can always go in and just add verbiage that is from that data that you pulled. So I just talk about what the Altos report said, and then I broke it up so it's digestible, it's readable for the user, it's visually pleasing. If you're not on Altos market reports, please reach out to your sales executive. They will be happy to get you set up on that. It's a Rock Title sponsored tool. It's super awesome. If you don't know who your sales executive would be, please reach out to me and I'll get you connected. You just email me, justin@rocktitle.com. Example four is for a closed property, specifically in McCormick Ranch. What I will say is data specific is super important. Being local is super important. So you want to use names like McCormick Ranch, data sold for $80,000 over asking price. You need an experienced realtor with a strong negotiation skills and a proven process to net you the most money. See what your home could sell for in today's market. This goes to my HomeBot landing page. Photo of a photo of the house that sold. You can have multiple photos. You can have a carousel, so there's multiple there they can see. But the biggest thing is enticing them to take action. Next one is a review, specifically for sellers. So you can take, I took a screenshot of a Google review. Again, specific to Justin sold our house in record time and received an amazing price. They can read the full review in the photo. Same thing that was on the previous one, work with an agent that has a proven record, and then that call to action for them to fill out that home valuation. Example 6, I like the verbiage that they used. It's a good example. So they talk about a property being sold and how your home value has been affected by this home being sold, right? Homes are selling for a lot of money right now in the past few years. So of course that would affect the neighbor's house and home value. So it's kind of nice to point that out. Then they can go there and get their free or updated home valuation. The last one is actually the one that we just went through. I wanted to include it in the slide so you had that available for when you guys go back and take a look at this, but we just pulled specific data and an image that's very local and then included data that backed it up. And then of course, a few tips to consider. So you always want to focus on results in your ad copy up here. Strong data. Always have a call to action. See what your home could sell for in today's market with your link. Make it as local as possible. This map is super local. The end user is going to see it, recognize it. They live there. Offer value, right? Data tips. So you've got this data here showing this one. The other one's an article about sellers. One's a market update. Video is always best. People love video. And then of course, follow up, follow up, follow up. Again, what is your follow-up process? That's one thing you take away from this is, you know, just in your business in general, what is your follow-up process? Open houses, lead gen, people who call you, emails. We're human, it takes 6 to 7 times before we start to recognize something. So don't give up after 2 calls, 2 emails, or anything like that. Keep going. All right, and then in the last piece here, I'm just going to point out how you can incorporate Facebook ads in general, target marketing into your listing appointments. I do have a create a winning listing packet class coming up in the next few weeks. You can go to rockuniversity.com to see that. But ads in your listing presentation. So this is a sheet or a page. I cut the bottom off. It has like the footer, so it has all my contact info and brokerage stuff. But I just wanted to give you guys a visual of this. This is a page from my listing packet that I designed that talks about social media target marketing. Here, it might be a little hard to see there, but it's money spent targeting your buyer profile. So any new listing that I got, I would then, when I was in my listing appointment, talk about the different data points and strategy around driving more traffic to your listing to buyers that are more likely to purchase in this area. And I would target areas like California, Washington, Colorado, Illinois, all the places we know that are moving to Arizona. Very similar to Las Vegas. So here I just said, I focus on marketing that is directed toward today's home buyer. Technology has changed consumer behavior in a big way, and you need a realtor who is a connoisseur of exquisite marketing. I understand target marketing and the importance of attracting the most amount of buyers possible through the use of modern strategies and technology. You can even run ads and direct it to your Zillow listing on Zillow, if you want to do it that way, because the consumer knows Zillow, they understand it. In terms of that, that's just where they go. And you can increase those views and traffic that's being driven there by these Facebook ads. And after running a few, you'll have data to show future sellers. So this property, I ran target marketing and got 5,600 more property views than without the ad. And you can start incorporating that into your listing packet. Show them visuals. That's pretty strong, right? The seller just, they want the most money in the shortest amount of time. And how do you do that? You drive more traffic there. So you can incorporate target marketing, target social media ads into your listing presentations and drive more traffic to your listing than any other agent. Target states, areas that are moving to Arizona, like I was saying. These can link to your listing on your website, or you can use Zillow profile. And then of course, after you run a few, you'll be able to incorporate those visuals and charts into a listing packet as well. But I just wanted to share that so you guys can kind of see how you can use this to win more listings as well, right? So you got the lead, now you're going to the listing appointment. How can you talk about it more? In the listing packet class, when we create this, I'll go through and create a whole packet and certain things that you can add in there to win more listings. One of the things is 3D tours with Zillow. And some may know this, some may not know this, but Zillow will show listings that have a 3D home tour first before all the other listings. So right there, if you invest in a 3D tour, add it to Zillow, you automatically are getting your client shown first in that geographic area, just because of that. A lot of agents just don't want to invest in it, but I'm telling you, it will set you apart for sure. Questions? Concerns? You can unmute, you can go in the chat box. Yeah, Alicia, so in terms of Zillow, so Zillow will show listings that have a 3D home tour first before all the other listings in that zip code or area. So if you have a, even if you go to Zillow, like Zillow.com, and you see the first listing, it will probably have a 3D tour if there's any in that area. But Zillow shows listings that have 3D tours first before any other listings. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Cool. Any other questions? Again, it's always a lot of information. If you guys have questions later on, once you start creating Facebook ads, take a screenshot, email me. I'll be happy to help you kind of step through that process. Again, speaking of process, think about what that follow-up process is, even for your business. And then if you haven't registered for that listing packet class, definitely do that. Just go to Rock Title or rockuniversity.com. I believe it's the 19th. Yeah. I'll walk through and show you guys how to do that. We're going to do it in Canva, so it'll be super easy, but effective. Awesome, guys. And next week, we're going to be talking about buyer seller guides and how you can really use those in your marketing and not just have them and use sometimes, but how you can really utilize. They're packed full of valuable information, how you can utilize them. So that'll be next Thursday. Following Thursday, we're talking about Linktree. How you can incorporate that in your business. And then 19th, we're getting into that listing presentation. Of course, if you haven't used Rock Title yet, please do. We have several branches across both states. And please consider writing us into your next contract so we can continue offering classes like today. I really appreciate you guys. It's great seeing repeat agents come back and take these classes, and also new agents. Thank you so much for joining us today. Hope you all have an awesome weekend. Thanks, Linda.
Thank you.
Thanks, Justin.
My pleasure. Have a great weekend, Mamta.
You too. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you
My
so
pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you.
much.
Of
Bye.
course.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.